Welcome back to the 2026 IPF World Sub-Junior and Junior Classic and Equipped Powerlifting Championships, live from Sun City, South Africa, and brought to you by none other than Aleco and SPD. We are just about to get underway this morning with the 63 kilo junior women's division. It has been a massive week of lifting here in South Africa. The weather's starting to warm up a bit. The weights are starting to fly, and this is going to be an absolutely huge session. Just looking at the opening lifts there in squats, we've got 182.5, which is the biggest opening squat, which is not that shy of the world record. We'll run 2 flights today because there are 15 lifters, so we have a flight of 8 and a flight of 7. And I am joined by none other than Brer Rabbit, straight from the Briar Patch in New Zealand. Welcome back to the commentary box. What have we got in store today?
I think we are in for a great session this morning with the 63 juniors. 63 is obviously a really competitive class in the Opens, so these ladies will be looking to stamp their mark nice and early.
Yeah, and some of these lifters in their probably getting close to their last year of juniors, moving up into the Opens next year. That is always a tough move coming from juniors to Opens, particularly in the men's divisions. It's super competitive, a difficult challenge to work into. We see in the men's powerlifting, the men's athletes, quite often we hit our peak a lot later. But right now on the platform, Natanya Raslo from South Africa, 105. And 3 white lights gets that on the board. It's nice to get that early morning squat out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. First squat, and not only the first squat for her, the first squat of the entire session and the day.
Yeah, I think that's the hardest one of the whole competition, is the first one in the morning. Leonie Brunner now, 140 kilos. Well, from this angle, it looks like she's getting in really deep there.
Yeah, 3 white lights. It is a good lift.
Another one on the board. That's what we want to see early on, just getting them on the board. Nothing crazy. We've seen, I think, too many times this week, people bombing out because they're opening too heavy on one of the lifts. There's Quinn from Ireland, 140 kilos. Three white lights.
Yeah, a good lift there, but like all flights, all sessions, we don't want to see anything too out of the box happening in the first round of squats.
Yeah, first round of squats in the morning session. It's just about getting that on the board, dusting off the nerves. So Eva Medasova from Czechia now, 142.5 kilos. Three white lights, not giving the referees anything to think about.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to be giving them more reason to look closer than they have to, especially this early in the morning, Gary.
Yeah, I'd hate, I mean, as an athlete, well, retired athlete, I used to hate the early morning weigh-ins.
It's not even that early. We started at 10 today. It's only an 8 o'clock
That's
weigh-in.
still early for
Not
me.
a 6 o'clock weigh-in.
Yu Ning Yi, Singapore now 145. There's nothing like a 6 o'clock weigh-in in the middle of winter where I come from. You're walking to the venue in 6 feet of snow.
At least it'll wake you up.
And just waiting on the referee's lights there. 3 white lights. It's on the board.
Looked a little bit of effort for an opener there, Gary. Maybe it's just how she squats, though.
Yeah, wait and see how the second one moves. Evie Vanderlyn now from Belgium. 150 kilos on the bar. Of course, don't forget we've got 2 flights, so these placings won't really come into effect until the second flight. Get through a couple of rounds of squats, and we can start looking where everyone's sitting.
Yeah, and we have some big openers coming up in the A flight, which of course will be after these B flight ladies finish all 3 of their squats.
And referee's lights are coming. 3 white lights. Gets that on the board, so Evie will be happy with that. Jenny Curry now. Finland, 155.
I saw her doing handstand walks out the back this morning, Gary. I don't know if that's part of her regular warm-up routine or whether she was just exerting some energy.
That's way too energetic for the morning. She gets the 3 white lights, but it was probably a little tougher than she would have liked for an opener. Never in doubt, though.
The bar is loaded. Rosa to bottom.
Michaela Best from Canada, 155. It's the best lift of 163, which I imagine is a national record.
Yeah, and she's not too far off this with her opener of 155, so she might be looking to extend that Canadian record today, Gary.
And that looks good from this angle, what the referees say. 3 white lights. Yeah, I think that's something we often forget to mention, is that not every athlete here is here, you know, with the idea that they're going to win the gold medal, but there are national records that they can set while they're here as well. So anything you do at a world level event reflects back into your national numbers as well. So if you break a national record here, it reflects back home.
Yeah, and that's the benefit for these lifters, like we said, who are in the B flight, perhaps don't have much of a shot of getting on the podium, but they can, of course, improve the standard of lifting for their home nation.
That's right. So we move into round 2 already. Natanya Rasiao from South Africa, 112 and a half. Her opening lift looked pretty good. 112 and a half is a fairly reasonable jump, I think.
Yeah, we're still a little bit below her PB. Her PB is listed as 132.5.
3 white lights.
145 for Bruna Switzerland.
Alicia Bruna from Switzerland now. 145. Sorry, Leonie Bruna. I'm getting my names mixed up.
The bar is loaded.
Uh, 148 is her best lift, so another national record holder, I would imagine. And this will bring her very close to that as well. Of course, you should note that we cannot chip a national record at a World Championship event. So if you're going to break your national record, it's going to have to be a full increment. sinks that in well.
We
The
got
3
ice
white
on the
lights.
floor.
Yeah, these ladies are looking really convincing with their squats so far. I haven't seen anything that has even looked remotely on the line, Gary.
Yeah, and I think that's a really good thing. I mean, it's all well and good to be,
The bar is loaded.
squatting at that point where you're sort of just getting into depth. But if you're going to, tread the line like that, at some point a referee's going to pull you up for it, and you're going to squat high. So you don't want to give them a reason to be looking. Eva Matasova, Czechia, 147.5. And that was a tough second lift. You said her opener looked a bit tougher than it should for an opener. Her second one looked pretty tough as well.
Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to take as big a jump for her third. I'd probably take a conservative 2.5 and not gas her too much before bench and deadlifts.
Yeah, still got a long way to go in the competition, so you don't want to use up everything you've got. Yu Ning Yi, Singapore, 152.5. 3 white lights, gets that one on the board as well. Everyone looking great so far.
152.5 representing Ireland.
So
Is Yvonne Daly with
Alicia
Elizabeth
Quinn
Tafaro.
now from Ireland, 152.5.
The bar is loaded.
It's a good jump there for 12.5 kilos.
Yeah, that's pretty sizable, but we are still well below her listed PB of 165. But as we've said multiple times this week, Gary, and I'm sure we're going to continue saying, is all of these athletes have so many other variables that they are battling to compete internationally.
Yeah, look, I mean, there was a really great post from one of the athletes competing this week up on Instagram last night about how everything is so different at a world championship event.
We got
3
ice
white
on the
lights gets
reset.
that one on the board.
The Yvonne Daly with
And
Elizabeth
her day didn't go to plan.
but in fitness to follow.
But that's the nature of the sport.
It's match play paradise for
And she
Italy.
really recognised how different it is at a world championship event and how difficult it is when you've got through your squats, you've got through your bench, and then you've still got to get deadlifts on the board as well, and the challenges that come with that, and opening too heavy and those sorts of choices.
Yeah, it's a big day regardless of all of the other things, let alone coming in. These ladies are going to have to wait for the A flight rather, of lifters before they even get to warm up for their bench. Like
Yep.
they have a good few hours out here exerting themselves to the absolute max.
Evie Vanderlyn now with 157.5.
We got
3
ice
white
loaded.
lights.
157.05.
Yeah, and I think you make a really good point. I mean, there is so many other
162.5
variables,
for Natalie Finland. The bar is loaded.
outside of, we talk
Amy
about travel, we
West.
talk about the different environment, the different foods, all that sort of stuff. But I mean, these are juniors. There's an enormous amount of things going on in their life right now that play an impact and take effect on that as well. 162.5 for Jenny Curry from Finland. And just got caught in the bottom there. Let's have a look at the replay. I don't think it was a case of too heavy. I think that was a case of just really misgrooved it out of the bottom.
Canada
And her
165.
body language sort of suggests that as well.
Yeah, she doesn't look overly concerned about it, Gary. She just went to her coach and was like, whoa.
Yeah, you can see her hips popped up way too fast there, put her in that forward position. She'll clean that up for round 3, and I imagine it'll be fine. Michaela Best now from Canada.
The bar is loaded.
And she's looking at 165, which I imagine could possibly be a national record. I don't have the Canadian national records in front of me, but she does hold a 163. Not sure if that's been beaten since then.
Yeah, we might have to gauge her success on what her celebration looks like after she gets this, Gary.
Well, that moved easy though, didn't it? For a 165 and a personal best of 163. Well, I'm going to let you try and gauge the celebration there. It was a nice little hop and a skip.
Hop, skip, fist bump, like celebration, but nothing too out of the box.
Now, she's going to conserve herself. She's got another round to go yet. So coming into round 3 already, Natanya Russell from South Africa, 120 kilos. Standings. Remember, we have a second flight to go, so these numbers won't place anything until we get through that second flight.
Yeah, and there are openers that unfortunately are going to shake up even the top squats in this flight, Gary. But we are flying through this B flight. Can't believe we're on to third round already.
Yeah, the spotting crew, platform crew are absolutely phenomenal. 3 white lights, we'd be really happy with that one.
150 personal best attempt of Superbuna Switzerland.
It looks like Leonie, the Swiss athlete, also holds a record. Her squat PB is listed as 148, Gary.
She does. She has a 148 there, which I imagine is a Swiss record. Obviously, we're not sure if that still stands, if it's been beaten since then or not. But if it hasn't, then this will equal, or this will beat a national record as well. Well, I don't think any referee in the world is going to be able to argue with depth on her squats. That is very good depth. Nothing for the referees to overthink. Gets right in there. Keeps a good position all the way through. So we stay at 150 for Eva Matasova. Check here now. Just below her personal best of 155. Well, it was a grind, but she got it there. And 3 white lights, it pays off.
Yeah, again, these B flight ladies making even their third squat attempts look super convincing.
Yeah, they're certainly not cutting them shy today. Union Yi, Singapore, 157.5. Oh, that was a tough, tough grind. She gets it to the top, and the referees say 3 white lights. Good work. That was a tough lift, that one.
Yeah, that was probably spot on with the attempt selection from Team Singapore.
Attempt selection is so critical in classic lifting.
The bar is loaded, engine
There is
declared
no
ready.
turning back if it's too heavy. Alicia Quinn now from Ireland at 160 kilos.
Very controlled squat there from Leisha. But I don't think she left any question for depth either, Gary.
No, there was never a question at all.
Next up is Sally from Finland for
I
personnel at
really
245 with
love
both
how
knees.
this session, this
This
group are
region of the
squatting
second round.
so deep into it
The
and
ball is
making
loaded.
sure there is
Next
no
up is
question for the
55.
referees.
No more changes for the A's.
Setting a real standard here. Jenny Curry now, Finland, 162 and a half. Was unlucky on a second. I just think she misgrooved it. And when she walked off, her body language suggested that it wasn't a weight issue at all. It is a smidge above her personal best, so it's going to be a bit tough. She needs to get all the timing right. And just again, her hips coming up a bit too fast and losing that position to drive
Bill
through.
unfortunately worked for
She'll
2
be a little bit
minutes, 4
disappointed, but
seconds. Taking
I
off
think she's
number 10,
fairly
Jen
sure she
Jacob
knows
from
exactly where things went wrong
165
there. You
with
can sort of
both
tell by the way
knees.
she's walking off, she knows exactly
Between the
what
test,
happened.
Yeah, and you can see really clearly on that replay, her whole body is coming up and then her hips just shoot back and she loses that position, and driving through that would probably result in an injury, which is
Yep.
of course not what we want.
Evie Vanderlyn
The
from
ball is loaded.
Belgium now, 160 kilos. Well, it moved well. It wasn't as deep as her others. And yeah, she got one yellow card from a side referee though. 2 white lights though, so it's a good lift.
Final score for this group is between the test, Canada, medium of 5 at 117. Driving door
It's a
ready.
bit of a twist around there, but managed to get it back
Ball is
together.
loaded.
170 kilos now for Michaela Best. Smooth and steady all the way through, and a big smile at the top, and she knows she's got that with 3 white lights.
That is the end of the B group. We'll sum it up.
Yeah, she is happy with that, and that was the last squat of our B flight. Gary would be moving straight on into the A flight now.
Yeah, this is where things get interesting. We'll get the first couple of rounds in, then we'll be able to have a look at where the placings are. So the ones to keep an eye on, Vanderlyn and Best at 165 are the ones with the only really in with a chance. So Veronica Dorr now from Canada, 120 kilos on the bar. The platform crew just doing some quick little maintenance on the platform there, making sure that squat rack is screwed down and very well secured.
Yeah, of course, we don't want it tipping too far forward when the athletes come into it all fired up.
Yeah, and you see how some of the some of the heavyweight men have a tendency to really give it a bit of a shove and a whack around. They need to make sure that's well secured. And you look at the punishment these racks and these bars take throughout a competition like this over a 2-week period. Just goes to show the standard of the quality though, doesn't it? Now, Veronica Dorr now from Canada, 120 kilos on the bar. Three white lights, a great opening lift.
Upper lights, weight limit 152.5 during the Maxwell McCullum. The bar's limit.
Martha Marsh from Great Britain now, 152.5. Doing her own double check on the load there. And good pick up from the athlete there. We do have a slight misload. That is attention to detail from an athlete. I don't think I've ever been on the platform as an athlete and been in the frame of mind to be able to check the plates.
No, I just go in fully trusting exactly what the spotters and loaders have loaded. It's probably not a bad habit to have, checking your own plates though, Gary.
It just paid off right then. So well done. 152.5. Three white lights gets the job done, and let's have a look at the replay. She has a bit of almost a look of surprise on her face. I'm wondering if it felt a little bit easier than she was expecting. She gets to the top. The job well done. Marina Maxwell from the US now, 155. And it was fast. Three white lights. That was a very, very quick opening, Scott.
Under 160. And he burns the column.
Minerva Mañez Garcia from Spain now, 160 kilos on the bar.
Yeah, already looking to open on higher than a lot of the B flight ladies finished on. So these ladies will be taking those podium positions in squats.
Again, another fast squat. These are starting to look like warm-ups rather than opening lifts.
3 openers to go. We have
Yeah, but it might also be a confidence thing, opening on something significantly lower than you know you're capable of, just getting that number on the board without so much as a hiccup in your first attempt.
Yeah, look, we say it all the time that your opening attempt should be something you can do any day of the week under any circumstance. Ann Burns from Australia now, 162.5. Being handled there by a very experienced coach and athlete. And we have three white lights. Locks that one away. And starts working towards getting onto the podium.
The bar's loaded.
And Laurette Thomason now from France. 162.5 kilos. We've almost got the first round of Flight A on. And another great lift. This is a fantastic opening round.
Yeah, it's really good. These athletes and coaches are spot on, but I would say all of those coaching teams are really experienced, Gary. There's no one out there that I'm like, I haven't seen that person before.
Yeah, look, and it is a tough job being a coach to World Championship. Quite often you're handling athletes that you don't coach. They're not your regular athletes. You may have only just met them at the start of the competition or a couple of weeks beforehand. You know, so you've got to find out as much as you can about them as quickly as possible, their training history, their lifting history, but also you've got to learn their body language really quickly and find a way to communicate with them really, really quickly, because when they come off this platform, you've got 1 minute to get your next lift in. So Sophia Fortin there from the US gets 182.5, 3 white lights. So you've got to be able to communicate with them on a level where you can get the best results. So it's a tough job being a coach at a World Championship event. So we come into round 2 already with Veronica Dorr. Veronique Dorr with 130 kilos. There are our current standings with Michaela Best still out in front there. But obviously we've got 2 rounds of lifting to go.
Martha Marsh, Great Britain, 157.5.
Martha Marsh now from Great Britain, 157.5.
The bar is loaded.
And just not quite there on that one. Let's have a look at the replay. She doesn't look overly concerned about it.
No, what do you think went wrong there, Gary?
Have a quick look at the replay and just see where things didn't quite happen. It's a little bit back and forth motion on the way up there. Not an enormous amount wrong. I just think she needs a little bit more speed out of the hole, straighten it up a little bit, and that will be fine. Marina Maxwell now, US, 167.5. Big smiles again at the top. 3 white lights. They just keep on moving. Manuel Garcia from Spain looking for 170 kilos. And Sophia is edging ever so close to that world record. Her second attempt going is 192.5, which I think is probably going to move really, really well.
Yeah, the current record is 200.5. That is not a huge jump away, especially at these weights, Gary.
She's edging very close to it, but I think she's also playing a very smart move here. If she's going to go after the world record, she's going to make sure she's got everything on the board first. Minerva there with a great lift and 3 white lights. And Burns from Australia now for a second lift, looking at 172.5. Opening lift moved well.
The bar is loaded for Burns.
Yeah, Burns and Thomason putting in the same attempts for their openers and their second attempts. They are like really neck and neck there. Burns just weighing in a smidge lighter though, so if it does come down to it, the Aussie will pip the French lifter. for podium position with these squats.
Slow and steady. 3 white lights gets the job done. So go to 172.5 again for Anne-Laure Thomason from France.
Building up bodybuilding metrics to another deeper bronze. Sophia Fontaine to follow. The bar is loaded.
Oh, very nicely executed. 3 white lights. That was a very, very nice lift. Demonstrate that she's got a bit more room to move.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if she puts in the same third attempt as our Australian lifter and whether those ladies are going to continue to battle it out into the third round of squats.
Sophia Fortin now with a massive 192.5. I think this is a really, really good choices here. We saw yesterday someone open with a big, big squat and then went straight to the world record for their second, missed it again on their third, and that cost them at the end of the competition. They couldn't make up the ground.
Yeah, that is quite upsetting, but we've seen it a few times this week actually, Gary. People opening on the world record or just below, and then it's too much.
Yeah, look, I mean, you might have done it a dozen times in training. So 3 white lights there for Sophia. So we'll watch what she puts in next. You might have done it a dozen times in training. But when you're opening at a world championship, everything is different. So opening on a world record is a very, very big call. So you see our standings at the moment with Sophia Fortin out in front, Burns in silver and Thomason in bronze. We're into round 3. Veronica Dawn out from Canada. 137.5 kilos.
A good lift for Dawn.
2 to 1. It is a good lift. It's a yellow card from the side referee.
Yeah, not so sure I saw a yellow infraction there, Gary, because obviously red is for depth, blue is for downward movement or lockout, and yellow covers all other manner of sins in squat.
157.5 now for Martha Marsh from Great Britain. Now, she didn't get it on a second, but she didn't look that concerned. You know, her body language suggested that, you know, it wasn't heavy, I just need to get it right.
She's got that wobble
She
again.
just couldn't quite get there. Just those hips just sort of pushing back and forth. And when it starts to shift like that, you're pushing energy into every direction other than into the direction you want it to go. So we go to 175 now for Minerva Mañez Garcia from Spain.
Silver if successful.
Quite a few of these lifters today will be moving up to the open division very soon. And another great squat, 175. What do the referees say? It is a good lift. 3 from 3.
Yeah, not too many third attempts left in this flight, Gary. So these ladies will be locking in their podium positions for this event.
Thomason from France now at 175. So she's going to put in her number that she thinks is right for her, and find out if Australia can outlift.
Yeah, they took the really conservative and I would say sensible 2.5 kilo jump. Our French lifter is nominated second overall, so maybe they're just looking to build up her kilos and not worry too much about individual events,
Yeah, I
Gary.
think it's really mature. I mean, it's very easy to get caught up in these little battles for individual medals. And you lose sight of the big picture. And as you said, she's the she's nominated second in projected totals. Why do something crazy, get caught up in a little battle, and risk a position in the overall total? So she gets that on the board, and now it is up to Ann Burns from Australia, 177.5. This will push her into the silver medal position, but it will also guarantee her a bronze.
Yeah. Our French lifter with that 2.5, I think that was probably a spot on call. It was slow, but there was no form breakdown and no reason for the refs to question it.
That's right, and she's still got bench and deadlift to go. There's Adam Michael Jones in Ann Burns' corner. He's got decades of experience under his belt in both coaching and lifting.
Part of Anne's warm-up this morning was getting chased by baboons down the hill, Gary.
Nothing like a nice baboon chase to get the morning started, is there?
Yeah, it gets the heart rate up. Oh, she's done it. Excellent.
3 white lights, gets herself into the silver medal position, guaranteed herself a bronze in the squat.
Yeah, with 2 more thirds to go.
So Marina Maxwell, 180. It's a big jump from 167.5 though, from second to third, but if anyone can do it, Marina has been lifting exceptionally well in the last 2 lifts. Oh, a bit of a stumble at the bottom, but boy, she got it moving again. 3 white lights, what a finish.
Yeah, that's locked her in for the squat silver, meaning that Ann Burns takes out the bronze. And it leaves us with 1 more squat, Gary.
And not just 1 more squat. Hold on to your socks, buckle up your seatbelts and put your seat trays in the upright position, because we've got a world junior squat record attempt at 201 kilos. 182.5 for open and moved really well. 192.5 smoked it. Can Sophia Fortin put 201 on the board for a world squat record on her way to trying to take out a world championship event? Both lifts have moved at 100 miles an hour. And just couldn't quite keep it moving. So edge of your seat, almost there, but not to be disappointed. And I don't think it was an overshoot. I think that was a logical lift to put in as well, regardless of it being a world record. It was just one of those things that it just didn't come off this time. And there we'll have our results up there. So Fortin with 192.5 takes the gold, Maxwell with 180 and the silver, and Ann Burns slides in there with 177.5 to take the bronze medal in the squats. Well, don't go away. We're back here in about 10 minutes time for the bench press. Welcome back to the 2026 IPF World Sub-Junior and Junior Classic and Equipped Powerlifting Championships live from Sun City, South Africa, and brought to you by none other than Aleco and SVD, the best in the business. We're just about to get underway for the bench press. You can see the squat recap there on your screen with Sophia Fortin with 192.5 kilos. That is a monster lift. She took a shot at the world record, just wasn't quite there today. Marina Maxwell with 180, and Ann Burns from Australia slides in for the bronze medal, 177.5. And we have got two flights, of course. We'll start with the B flight in the bench press and then move on to the A flights. Of course, in the B flight, these guys have just got to put their best numbers on and hope for the best, because they're not going to know where they place until after the A flight. But right off the bat, we have Natanya Rasal from South Africa, 60 kilos to open her bench press campaign. And of course, this is the toughest lift of all the lifts. It's the most technical of all the lifts. They've got a plethora of things to think about when you're out there. Your feet have to be flat on the floor. They can move, but they can't leave the floor. Your butt has to be on the bench, shoulders on the bench, head in contact with the bench. You've got to be in the lockout position to start and finish. Your elbows have to come down below the center of your shoulder joint, and you've got to wait for the start, press, and rack command. There is a lot going on.
There is, of course, and the 3 white lights, she's got a good lift on the board. She's got the hardest job of the day, Gary, opening each lift.
Yeah, being the first one out there is always the hardest. I mean, it's a nervous time at a regional competition. Then there's more nerves at a national. When you set out on the stage at a world championship event, it is a whole different ball game. There are lights, there are cameras everywhere. We've got a whole media crew set up on the side here as well. There's so much going on. Leonie Brunner now from Switzerland, looking for 67.5. And that looks from this angle to be a great opening lift. It is 3 white lights.
It was super fast off her chest, Gary.
I think, and I think what we'll see for the next couple of days, for the last few days of this comp, I think you'll see that, you know, these athletes come down, they watch, or they're watching online, and the coaches are watching, and they have seen, you know, people make the mistake of opening too heavy on a lift and bombing out. So we're going to see some athletes really take that on board and open a little bit more conservatively. So you're going to see some fast opening lifts throughout the next few days as they get a little bit conservative and think, well, you know, I'm not going to let that happen to me. And they start to realize that, you know, all 3 lifts, by the time you get to your deadlifts in a world championship event, you are starting to run out of steam. Yuning Yi now, Singapore, for 67.5. Just waiting on the referees. It is 3 white lights. As we load to 70 kilos for Eva Marasova from Czechia. She got her squats on the board. There were some tough ones in there though. Let's see if bench is a little bit smoother for her. Steady, but not super fast, but never in doubt. 3 whites gets a good lift there. Alicia Quinn now from Ireland, 77.5 kilos. Well under her personal best.
Alicia just taking time there to explain how she wants her handout to the centre spotter. He has been doing a fantastic job so far this week, but of course you can't always guarantee that the handout is going to be exactly what you need, especially if you don't ask for it. He's not a mind reader.
No, that's exactly right. You should take the time to give them a very simple instruction. Don't complicate things. And that looks like a good opener there. Let's wait for the referee's decision. It is 3 white lights. You know, and as an athlete too, you've got to be adaptable. You are not going to get the handout that you are used to getting from your coach week in, week out at training. You know, or the person who's handing out to you. It's going to be a little different. They're going to do the best they can. So you've got to learn to be adaptable. You've got to learn to understand that you're not going to always get the perfect handout exactly the way you want it or exactly what you're used to, and just deal with that. I've seen a lot of athletes over the years walk off a platform complaining they didn't get a good handout. They didn't get the handout they wanted. But the fact is, as an athlete, the onus on you is on you to be a little bit adaptable. So Michaela Best from Canada, 80 kilos.
And also, if you're that concerned about the handout, a self-unrack wouldn't go amiss.
3 white lights. Gets that one on the board and she skips off. Quite happy with herself, and so she should be. Jenny Curry from Finland now, 90 kilos. Three white lights.
Entering the title opener, 81 women with Belgium, making this vote ready. The bar is loaded, 100 kilos to Mongolia 10.
Evie Vanderlyn now. 100 kilos on the bar. Three white lights.
Yeah, nice and smooth. An opening attempt.
No, look, it's really good to see that all of these athletes and coaches have made some really mature opening lift attempts. Great choices there. And it is really easy to not consider the differences between being at home training and being here at World Championships. And I'm sure you come here with an idea that I'm going to open at this weight, but when you get here, things change. You need to be adaptable enough to adjust that. Natanya now, Russell from South Africa, looking for 62.5 for a second. A good choice for a second. Still a little bit of room to move into a third as well. Adding some kilos there.
With the best in 205 at 70. UDG Singapore ready. The bar is loaded.
70 kilos for Leonie Brunner from Switzerland. Had a really good opening lift.
Leonie opting for the self-unrack that we just spoke about, meaning there's less variables in terms of her setup.
And makes short work of that one.
3 white lights, it is a good lift, and she looks really pleased with that, so it'll be interesting to see where they push her to for her third.
The bar is loaded. This is Singapore.
Yu Ning Yi now, 72.5 kilos. little bit more than her personal best by 5 kilos. Handled that well, especially given that's 5 kilos more than her personal best. 3 white lights, and there's still a bit of room to move there. I'd go another 2.5 kilos on that for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. It looked pretty good for a second, and she had no question about that bench depth rule that we were talking about, Gary. Her elbows were below the line of the bench.
Eva Matasova from Czechia now. Looking for 72.5. Right on her personal best, and there's not a lot of wiggle room there, is there?
No, but an equal PB on the world stage is nothing to be sniffed at. I'm not super sure she has a whole bunch left there. I'm going to say it's 2.5 or bust there, Gary.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think 2.5 is going to be a stretch as well. It's going to be tough for her.
Yeah, it is a shame, particularly with the bench press, that you can't take smaller increments.
Yeah, 2.5. I know it doesn't seem like a whole lot, but in the bench press, that could be, that can be a make or break moment. Alicia Quinn with 82.5 makes short work of that one. The 3 white lights.
Making lift at Canada, 85 kilos. They're carrying to color. The bar is loaded.
85 kilos goes on the bar now for Michaela Best.
I keep expecting you to make a best dad joke, Gary.
I've been holding on to it.
Maybe later in the session.
You know me too well.
Three white lights.
3 white lights.
2 more attempts to go in this second round.
Yeah, these ladies making their second attempt bench press look just as good as their first ones. It was the same in squats, Gary. A really high quality of lifting from our 63 kilo women.
Yeah, I will have to say 63 kilos, not just high quality lifting and technique, it's also, I think, every one of them has made really good attempt decisions. I haven't seen anything crazy going on the bar. Everyone's making smart moves. And 95 kilos for Jenny Carr from Finland.
3 white lights, a good lift.
And gets that one on the board.
Linda Belgium
3 white
for a
lights.
personal best of 5 at 105. Really clean for a bench press or powerlifting dude. The bar is loaded. Result to color.
Evie Vanderlyn 105. And make short work of that one. 3 white lights.
Personal best of 5.
That is all our beef flight ladies with their second attempts on the board as well, proving us correct with our statement before, Gary, about the good attempt selections and the really tidy lifting as well. I haven't seen a whole bunch of red lights in this flight at all.
It's been a really good flight. All of these athletes really putting their best foot forward. 65 kilos now for Natanya from South Africa.
South Africa just bumping her up 2.5. Again, super sensible decision. Like Gary said earlier, 2.5 with the bench press is actually a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't really matter at what weight you're at either. I mean, you know, you could be lifting 60 kilos to your best. You could be lifting 250 kilos to your best. 2.5 kilos can stop you in your tracks. And she smokes that one. She's had a fantastic day.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just waiting on the referee's lights. I'm sure there's not going to be a red. We might have to go for the manual paddles, which we have had to do a few times this week. Oh, there we go. 3 white lights. Great lifting from Natanya.
The bar is loaded. This is 5 kg personal best attempt.
Leonie Brunner now 75 kilos for her third lift.
Yeah, Team Switzerland giving her a 5 kilo jump up from her second to her third, but her second was super smooth, so I'm not saying this is not out of range. Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
absolutely nails that for a third lift.
White lights, a good lift. New personal best of 5. Union Singapore 75 for a personal best of 3.5. The bar is loaded. 3 attempts to make changes for
3
the
white
ladies.
lights. She just
Bar is
makes
open
short
for the
work of that
barbell.
one. Yuning Yi now from Singapore for 75. And that last lift just proving to be a little bit too much
No
today.
technical testing in Singapore. Same weight for Minnesota.
You know,
Bar
and
is
you know,
loaded.
you expect
Still personal best of
in
3.5
third lifts that some are
meters.
going to get missed. I mean, your third lift is
Reshaping bench press
generally sort of
ready.
a 60
2
percenter,
attempts.
sometimes even less. It's often a weight you've not done before or that you've been very close to doing in training.
Yeah, and I think her second was quite tough. So 2.5, that was all they could do. There was no other option. And if she got it, it would have been great. But again, like you said, third lifts, that's kind of what they're there for, pushing the limits.
Matasova now from Czechia, 75. And not able to put that one away
No lift
either.
for Minnesota.
Everyone getting just
Final
to the edge
adjustable
now.
changes for the A. It's 85 kilos for Alicia Quinn Island, and that's personal best attempt.
So Alicia Quinn from Ireland for 85 as well.
The bar is loaded. Michaela Bess, get ready.
Oh, well-controlled lift and a well-chosen third lift as well.
3 white lights,
3
please.
white lights. I mean, she's probably going to walk off
Michaela
thinking I
Bess
could have done
standing at
more,
87.5,
but
looking to match her personal best.
there's always that
Time to
moment. Yeah, I
go.
mean, that might have felt easy, but another 2.5 could have been the one that
The bar
stopped
is
you as
loaded.
well. So,
No more changes for the
but now you've
participants.
actually added weight to your total, so that's the best position to be in.
Yeah, exactly, especially going into deadlifts. And of course, deadlifts is an easier event to make up more kilos on. It's a bigger muscle
That's right.
group.
Michaela Best, 87.5 kilos. Michaela making the best of
No
it,
lift
but
for Bess.
couldn't quite get the bar
100
up.
There
kilos.
we go. Thanks, Gary.
You asked for it, I deliver.
Junior, it's a PB attempt of 5 for the finish.
So Jenny
Personal
Kari
best
now
attempt
with
for the PB.
100 kilos. I mean, I could have said making the best of a bad situation, but I withheld.
But that 2.5 just a bit too much, as we have said.
100 for Jenny Carr, so a 5 kilo jump from her second to her third, but everything's been moving well on bench. A bit of a rough time on squats. How she got that moving is absolutely beyond belief. Unfortunately, it's a no lift, but have a look at the replay on this. This was an incredible feat. It stops twice and she managed to get it moving. Red lights or not, she should be really happy with her determination in that lift. 107 on the bar, 107.5 on the bar, sorry, for Evie Vanderlyn.
I would have said that was probably like a moral victory for Finland, and of course it would have counted in the gym, Gary.
Absolutely, that's definitely a gym lift. Everything counts in the gym. When you're training in powerlifting, if you're new to the sport, train with someone who is going to be brutally honest with you, and they are going to tell you if your butt comes off the bench or if your squat isn't deep enough. Oh, fantastic third there from Evie. 3 white lights, what a way to finish her bench press. And of course we move straight into the A flight now.
Yeah, 107.5 for a third attempt. Gary, if the A flight ladies were to make a few mistakes, Evie could very well be on the podium for a bench press medal.
Yeah, absolutely. 107.5 is not out of the question to be on the podium finish. The biggest opener in the A flight is Sophia with 105. So 107.5 is certainly within the realms. Lanez Garcia now, 87.5. Well, it must have moved fast because I looked at the scoreboard for a second, looked back, and she'd already finished her lift.
Yeah, it was super fast, Gary. Blink and you would miss it.
The bar is loaded.
So Marina Maxwell from the US now, 92.5. Make short work of that one. 3 white lights.
2.5 more for the Indoor Canada and Burns ready. The bar is loaded.
Veronica Dorr from Canada, 95 kilos. Of course, we'll get through this first round and then we can start looking at where people are sitting in the placings. Be able to see if Evie has a shot at getting on the podium. Three white lights.
Abby Burns, Australia, 97.5. Becca Bosch ready.
Have a look at the replay for that.
That looks super smooth, super quick, and I think more or less what she said to her coach when she walked off was, we can do more.
There's plenty of room to move. Anne Burns now from Australia, 97.5. Picked herself up a bronze medal in the squats with 177.5. Now looking to see what she can do in the bench press. good opener. I don't think she's within reach of the podium finish in the bench press, but stranger things have happened.
Yes, they have. We can't rule anything out until the final lifts. Excellent depth, though, not giving that centre ref anything to look at or question there.
Yeah, look, we've had that ruling for a while now, so all our athletes should be, able to manage it quite well. Martha Marsh now, Great Britain, 100 kilos. Two to one, it is a good lift. She gets a red light with a yellow card from the side referee, so we'll have a look at that replay.
Yeah, and of course this is the side that the light came from, so we should be able to see pretty clearly on here what the ref saw. It was a bit...
the jury has overruled. It was ever so slight, but contact did get lost.
Yeah, unfortunately, the light on the far side of the live stream camera means that no glute lifts go unnoticed, Gary.
And Thomason now from France with 102.5. Super fast, and that's what you like to see. 2 to 1 though. She gets a red card from the center referee. Is that for elbow depth?
Yeah, that'll be for elbow depth, which is interesting because we've only seen the one card for elbow depth so far in this whole flight, actually, Gary. That left elbow is looking a little bit higher than the right, but and the jury has agreed it is too high, so Team France are going to have to make some changes and come back and sink that.
And that is a tough one to change on the fly as well. Sophia Fortin now from the US, 105. And that was another super fast lift and 3 white lights to put that one away. And we move into round 2 already. With Garcia from Spain for 95 kilos. It's a big jump in bench press, 87.5 to 95.
Her opener was that super speedy one that you did miss, Gary, so she probably did 87.5 for reps as part of her warm-up, to be honest.
Well, let's see how this one goes for a second. Well, that moved very quickly as well. 3 white lights. It's a tough question for the coaches now. Do you go 5 kilos or play it safe with 2.5 when you think there's a pretty good probability of an extra 5 kilos in there?
Yeah, an extra 5 would take her up to that nice round triple-digit 100 kilos.
So 97.5 on the bar for Marina Maxwell from the US.
She is racing in from the toilet. She was not ready to go. She has just zoomed in from the door. Her coach closely behind her. She does have 30 seconds on the clock. Here she comes.
Wait for go the belt.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't rush it.
She's still got a good 19 seconds there. Her setup isn't elaborate. She's got time.
Yeah, she does. It would be a shame if a mistimed bathroom break resulted in a no lift. Oh my goodness.
Well, the pressure got to her a little bit there, but she managed it. And she gets 2 to 1, no lift, unfortunately.
We'll be interested to see what they see here. I thought that looked all right from that side, Gary, but I'm not in the chair today, so it's not my call.
And the jury having a little bit of a talk about it. And I don't think she's going to get any joy there. Veronica Dorr now from Canada, 100 kilos. tough lift.
2 to 1.
2 to 1. It is a good lift, but it was a tough one, and she's still got another one to go yet.
Martha Mars strike rating 102.5.
Yeah, we'll see what the
The
yellow
ball
is
noted.
for
Sun
on this
City
side.
championship of bronze. And Burns the final.
There's movement, but was there loss of contact?
Didn't seem to be. Martha Marsh now, 102.5. An interesting call here. They missed the first one. We've gone up.
Yeah, Martha just got called for glute lift from the side referee, and the jury unfortunately agreed with it.
Two to 1. It is still the elbow call, so that was why it was overruled in the first one. Hence why.
The bar is noted. PB attempting
Let's see what the
3
jury's saying on this one.
on bodyweight.
The elbow depth rule, when it was introduced, was pretty contentious. People didn't really know how to ref it, Gary, and they also didn't really know how to train for it if they were someone who lacked that depth.
Yeah, it was a challenging one, and yeah, as I do recognise that for a little bit it was a little bit controversial. Ann Burns, 102.5. 3 wide lights to make short work of that one.
Yeah, and no questions asked there in terms of depth or any other infractions.
Evie from Belgium is still in the gold medal position from the V flight.
Which is interesting, and I feel like I may have jinxed that by saying if things had gone wrong for these A flight ladies, that would be the case.
And Thomason now, France, 102.5 kilos.
Yeah, she was just called on depth for her opener as well. And like you said earlier, Gary, that's not an easy thing to fix on comp day. That is something that should have been brought up months ago.
And she gets it this time with 3 white lights.
Yeah, I'm wondering if she just used kind of a higher touch point on her chest, because that's probably the most straightforward thing you can do without fluffing around too much with your setup in terms of where your feet are, how high your arch is.
Yeah, it's a difficult thing to manage on the day, but she's done it well. So Sophie Fortin now, 110 kilos. Three whites. And we are into round 3 already.
Yeah, Sophia just bumped Evie from the B flight off that gold medal position, but we still have the third round of bench press from these A flight ladies.
Garcia from Spain now, 97.5. There are our current standings on the board and our subtotals. Not a whole lot between them at the top there. We'll get through this and get that first deadlift on, and we can actually start looking at the real numbers. Garcia looking for 97.5 to finish her bench press campaign. And a perfectly picked third lift.
Yeah, that was bang on, and that was interesting, Gary, because her second was so speedy, but like we've said time and time again, that 2.5 makes all the difference.
Yeah, you can go from speedy to pancake to the bench. The Marina Maxwell now, 97.5.
Coming out with a little bit more time to spare.
She looks a little bit more relieved.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been disappointing to miss out on her second just for the timing there. She's got her belt. She can settle into the bench a little bit more. I'm hoping she doesn't miss out too many kilos, because she's currently projected 4th, Gary.
Yeah, I mean, thankfully it's bench and it's not an area where you're making up a lot of kilos. It hurts the most in squat and deadlift. So 3 whites, and that one's on the board. Veronica Dorr will be our next lifter out with 102.5 kilos.
Veronica Dorr, Canada, 102.5. The bar is noted. It's a personal best attempt of 2.5. Martha Marsh, get ready.
102.5 Not going to change her ranking a whole lot. We'll push her up into 5th position, but not into the medal contention. So if you hear us talk about red and green on the board, that's because our scoreboard in front of us highlights good lifts with green and no lifts with red. And Veronica just not able to push that one out, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a case of the 2.5 pinning you to the bench, but Team Canada didn't have anywhere else to go after 100 kilos.
Martha Marsh now, Great Britain 105. So she didn't get the 100 on the board. Then she went up to 102.5 and got it. And now looking for 105. Oh, what an effort there.
2 to 1, it is a good lift. However, she does get pinged on that side again with a yellow card. We will have to see if we can see the infractions, and more importantly, if the jury can see the infractions. Movement, yes. Loss of contact, I'm not sure, Gary.
No, I don't think so. And Brer has just brought to my attention that Evie from the B flight with 107.5 is now guaranteed a medal.
Yeah, because of body weight. So Anne-Laure from France has put in 107.5, which is of course what Evie lifted. However, Evie slightly lighter, which means even if the next 3 lifters get their lifts, she will be on that podium for a bench press medal.
And Anne Burns just smokes her 3rd lift there with 105. Absolutely fantastic. Only got 2 lifters left in the A flight. And Thomason from France now 107.5. This will pull her from 5th to bronze. Obviously can't go past Evie, as you just explained.
Yeah, so that's something that coaches do also have to be aware of if they are in a close battle with someone, what the competitor weighed in at. And if she doesn't get this, Evie will have a silver medal, Gary. Not that I am ill-wishing any lifter, I just think it's really fun when B-flight lifters get their chance for glory on the podium.
And it's really tough being in the B flight because you can't see what everyone in front of you is doing. So all you can do is put your best on and hope things work out for you. But that is a good lift there. Now we go to Sophia Fortin from the US for the final lift in the A flight. 112.5, Sophia Fortin.
Yeah, already secured in that bench press gold position. 2.5 kilos at least above her other competitors. Could have probably done reps with that, Gary.
Yeah, I think she probably could have repped it out, so she's making sure she's got plenty left in the tank for the deadlift. So a really good way to finish.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've just having a look at the scoreboard now. Evie from the B flight, silver medal, Gary.
Yeah, it takes a silver medal on body weight. Absolutely fantastic. And not much in it. Sophia Fortin with 110 takes the gold medal. Evie Vanderlyn with 107.5 gets the silver on body weight. And Thomason from France there on the same weight, but just a little bit heavier, takes the bronze. And there are our current totals. As you can see, there's not a whole lot in that sort of top 5, top 6 lifters. Not a lot separating them at the moment in regards to subtotals. But we'll see how that pans out as we move into the deadlift. And you see the projected totals there. A little bit difference there, but there's a lot to happen before those become realistic. Don't go too far away. We're going to be back here in about 10 minutes' time with the deadlifts. Welcome back to the 2026 IPF World Sub-Junior and Junior Classic and Equipped Powerlifting Championships, live from Sun City, South Africa, and brought to you by none other than Aleco and SBD. And we are just about to get underway for the deadlift in the 63 kilo women's division. And we have got two flights, and incidentally, in the bench press, Evie from Flight B gets onto the podium with a silver medal in the bench press. And that is not an easy thing to do because you have to just put in the best you can and wait for the A flight to finish. But we are getting the deadlift underway now, of course, two flights with Natanya Russell from South Africa getting us underway with 147.5.
Of course, once again, having the hardest job in the flight, and that is opening the lifts, Gary.
Yeah, she's done the really smart thing of putting her opening lift down 5 kilos before the start of this as well, ensuring she gets that lift on the board. This is a really important lift, and we all think, you know, oh, opening deadlift, easy lift, no worries. If you get it wrong and you put it in the wrong weight, you're in all sorts of trouble, and you need this lift to lock away your total. And if you've set a world record somewhere along the line, you need this lift to lock in that world record as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Nothing is certain until you have a lift from all three disciplines on the board. Otherwise, doesn't count.
Michaela Best now at 157.5. A nice easy opener, locks that total in. Now she can start looking at the numbers and where she can end up. Can she beat some personal bests? And Jenny Curry now from Finland, looking at 160.
Something I've noticed this week, Gary, particularly with deadlift openers, some people are opening light and they're going too fast and then they wobble at the top, which of course for a deadlift, double movement blue infraction.
Yeah, it's a difficult challenge, particularly sumo, because you know, the wider you go in that sumo stance, then the narrower that center of gravity is, that base of support becomes. And it can create a wobble at the top. 3 white lights, gets that one on the board. Eva Matasova from Czechia now, 160. Yeah, I mean, you can see how sumo has really changed over the years as well. I mean, traditionally sumo was a perpendicular sort of position to the ground, but now we're seeing, you know, getting further and further out, and that again reduces that center point at the top. No such problems with a conventional deadlift though. Gets that on the board.
167.5 from Paralympic Belgium.
Evie Vanderlyn now 167.5, and she will be on cloud 9 at the moment after getting a silver medal in the bench press.
Yeah, absolutely. And just looking at these openers for the A flights and the B flights, Gary, she's not too far off this either.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot in it for the deadlift. You know, a few things go her way, a few things don't go someone else's way. She might find herself on a podium as well. Three white lights, gets it on the board. We move to Alicia Quinn from Ireland now for 170, and she has dropped her opening lift by 2.5 kilos as well. Three white lights.
2 more minutes to go for Mia Bruda, Singapore and Switzerland.
And we move to Yu Ning Yi, Singapore for 175.
The bar is loaded.
I love seeing everyone's deadlift setups, Gary.
Yeah, everyone's got their own particular way of doing it.
3 white lights, 8
3
green
whites,
lights.
still on the board.
Final opener 172.75
And
for
deadlift is
both
one of those
women
ones
and
where,
men.
you know, you don't have to wait for a start command or
Number
anything, so
7
you can sort of
attending.
get out there and, you know, take your time and set up the way you want to set. You don't have to wait for anyone
Balls
to tell you
loaded.
when to start. You've got a full minute. 177 and a half on the bar for Leonie Brunner, Switzerland. Three white lights.
Everyone is in order by the end of the first round.
We are into round 2
Up to the
already.
women
This is
from
flying
Vancouver,
through.
West Canada,
Natanya
Tanya Herschel,
herself from South Africa now for
157.5.
157 and a half for her
Judges,
second.
Yeah, 10-kilo jump up from her opener. Her opener was super smooth, and with deadlifts and bigger lifts like squats, the 10-kilo jump isn't out of the question for most lifters.
Yeah, and she dropped her opening lift by quite a bit as well to make sure she had a very clean, good lift. You can see the current standings on the board at the moment. They are not going to hold a whole lot of meeting until we get into the A flight and start putting some away. But Natanya has locked away her total. Now she can have a bit of fun out there. Sort of the pressure's off a bit when you get that first deadlift in. Your total's solidified. You can relax a little, have a bit more fun. And that was teetering on the edge of her max. I don't know if there's a whole lot of room to move there. I'd probably be looking at another 5 kilos tops.
Yeah, not another 10, definitely, especially if they want to just build those lifts, get her some good numbers on the international platform.
So Eva Marasova from Czechia now, 167 and a half. Squeezes it to the top and gets it there in the end. She certainly doesn't look happy with that. Her body language suggests that she's not happy with the way things are going.
No, she doesn't look super pleased with how the day is going. I'm just looking at her weight, Gary, and wondering if there was a rough cut or something involved. She's got a lot of good lifts, but she has made them look quite tricky. I'm wondering if, yeah, something's not quite right for our lifter from Czechia.
Michaela Best now looking for 167 and a half. And no problems with that one. 3 white lights.
No, super easy. It always, from where we're sitting in the commentary booth, it's always interesting to see lifters look surprised when they get white lights, when it's from an outsider's perspective, a very good lift.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things where it doesn't matter how well you think the lift went, it's that nervous weight of, did I get it?
Yeah, especially when the lights are a little bit slow. They've been pretty temperamental here this week.
Jenny Cardi now from Finland, 170. Almost a 2-stage sort of lift there. Gets it to above the knees, then starts moving again.
Yeah, it doesn't stop or dip though, which means there's no reason for the refs to consider anything other than a white light.
So Evie Vanderlyn now looking for 180 kilos. So it's a good 12.5 kilo jump from her first.
I'm just so happy for Evie with her silver medal. In the bench press, I'm watching the numbers really closely now. She's not far off podium overall, Gary.
Yeah, she's certainly pushing her way up there.
I mean, we do have the whole flight of A-lifters to go. However, like we've said, stranger things have happened.
Well, all she can do is put her best on and hope for the best and just see what happens. And that's what she's doing.
Yeah, I'm not sure there's another 12.5 jump in there that slowed down quite a lot up at the top before she locked out.
Yeah, look, depending on where the numbers fall at the end, I mean, it's difficult for her because she's in the B flight, and if she wants to be challenging for a podium finish, she doesn't get the privilege of being able to, you know, change a number based on what someone else has done to make sure she gets on the podium. So all she can do is put the most on. So she's got to pick a number now that she can do and get the best out she can. Alicia Quinn now, Ireland, 182.5.
Another 12.5 kilo jump in our B flight deadlifts. Seems to be the name of the game here, Gary.
Yeah, following a bit of a trend. Little bit of a bobble at the top there, but the referees say it's all good. 3 white lights.
Yeah, I feel like she managed to steady that bar before it pulled her too far forward, which is good. She was so patient off the floor, and she was so patient to lock out too. That was by no means an easy lift for Leisha.
Leonie Brunner now, Switzerland, 187.5. Three white lights, gets it on the board.
Yeah, a really good lift there from Leonie.
So Yu Ning Yi, Singapore, 187.5. Oh, that was tough, and she was a little bit out of position at the start of that pull as well. You'll see in the replay here, just didn't look from that angle, didn't look like she really sat down into it at all.
No, and she showed her coach her hands as she walked off, so wondering if there's a couple of things at play there. That was a 12.5 kilo jump up from her opener. I'm hoping that Singapore hasn't bitten off more than they can chew with that, because like we've said before, can't go down.
Yeah, and those decisions make all the difference. I mean, we've seen it so many times this week with just, you know, bad choices in lifts. You know, we've seen people miss podium finishes because, you know, they, you know, just, you know, they might have had a good opening squat but missed the next one, missed the next two, and then just couldn't make up the ground again. And that is a tough, you know, pill to swallow sometimes. If you'd taken a smaller jump, you would have added 5 kilos instead of nothing, and it could have been the difference between, you know, a fourth and a third. Tanya now from South Africa, looking for 165. She has had a fantastic day. Toughest one, having to be the first lifter out on every one. But she has been fantastic. She's got all the lifts on the board. I think at this point she's gone 8 from 8. That one was just a bit too heavy to finish off the day, but absolutely well done. What a performance.
Yeah, and that's kind of what third deadlifts are for. That would have been a 7.5 kilo PB for her, which would have been massive. Unfortunately, big long day for these young lifters, and it's too much.
Yeah, it takes its toll, and you don't realise how fatigued you are until you walk out on that deadlift platform, and suddenly it just whacks you in the face like there's no tomorrow. Eva Marasova Czechia, 170. And a strong finish, just shy of her personal best.
3 workouts, a good mix. From the attempts to make changes for the A's.
Yeah, and you can see her body language there that she's not happy with the way things have gone. And I think this is also a bit of an expectation from athletes too in their earlier years of competing, that they think every competition they're going to make improvements.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to get a better total at the end of each competition. And the fact of the matter is, in powerlifting, as much as it seems to be linear, in regards to competing, it's not. You know, you lift for the day, you lift for the conditions, and you become adaptable. And you're going to have competitions where you improve on numbers, and you're going to have competitions where you lift less than you usually do. And that is just the nature of it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it is, and that comes with experience, though. But like you said, if it was linear, our Masters 4 would be the strongest.
That would be a frightening thought. Michaela Best now looking for 175 kilos. She increased her last lift by 2.5. Of course, in the deadlift, you have 2 changes for your last lift. And that was just proving to be a little bit too heavy today, but a big effort. And she, again, has also had a fantastic day of lifting as well.
Yeah, really tidy lifting. But I think Team Canada are usually pretty good. Their lifters lift to a high standard, and their coaching team is very experienced.
Yeah, we have seen some great performances from Canadian lifters this week. Mika and Zach Vandenhouse got medals as well from Canada. And some outstanding performances from Canadian lifters. Jenny Curry now, Finland, 177.5. Oh, almost there, and boy, she has not given up on it. What an effort. No one can say she didn't give it everything. She left it all out there. 177.5 on the bar now. No, we should actually be going up to 187.5. Thank you. There it is. The screen is caught up. Yu Ning Yi, Singapore, 187.5.
It's a personal best attempt, just 7.5 into a standard PB by 12.5. She would be second in history. Alicia Quinn, get ready.
Yeah, this was stuck to the floor a little bit in her second attempt, but I think you said she got out of position a little bit, Gary.
Yeah, she never really sat down into it. Her hips were way up. She was almost looked like a sort of sumo conventional deadlift. Just needs to sit back, pull the shoulders back behind the bar to begin with, and I think it'll move a bit better for her. Yeah, if your shoulders are out in front of the bar, it is I'm not going to say impossible, but a very difficult place to pull from. That was better. 2 to 1, it is a good lift. Could still be a little bit cleaner than it was, but it was a lot better than the second attempt. Just needs to sit back a little bit more than that. I think it'll be even easier for her.
The bar is loaded and no more changes for the A's.
Alicia Quinn, Ireland, for 187.5. Adding a couple of kilos to a personal best deadlift. And just couldn't quite get it there. Gave it everything she had.
The leader in the B group,
And I thought for a second she was going to lock that out, but just couldn't quite put it together in the end.
She's looking to extend
Yeah, no one can fault her grit, though. She was trying her hardest to pull through. Just kind of needed to get her hips through a bit, but that's so hard when the bar's stuck on your legs.
finish of the weight class.
So Iggy Vanderlyn now
Loading room to follow.
looking
And the bar is loaded for
187 and a half, and this will give her a total of 460. It certainly puts her in the realms of possibility for a podium finish.
To keep members of the
Might be a bit of a
on
long
board.
shot, but it's not the impossible. Oh, just couldn't quite hold it. What a shame. So she'll finish with a 452 and a half, and I think that generally puts her out of contention for a podium finish in the end, which is a real shame. She gave it everything she had, though. Leonie Brunner from Switzerland now, 192 and a half. And of course the bar being cleaned between each lift in the third round.
The bar is loaded for Leonie Brunner, Switzerland.
Giving our lifters the best chance possible of pulling a PB. This is going to be a PB of 4.5 for Leonie. She's got 188 listed as her current PB. Again, a Swiss record. I believe she had one on squats as well, Gary.
Yeah, she's been having an absolutely fantastic day out there. You know, you have competitions, you have days where everything just seems to fall into place well. And by the looks of it, that's what she is having today. And I think that one's good as well. It is 3 white lights.
Yeah, she is so happy, and she's had an outstanding day. Really, really high quality lifting from Team Switzerland.
So we move into the A flight now. So there are your current standings of deadlifts after the B flight. Obviously those results won't really mean a whole lot until we get through the A flight. All right, now Veronique Dorr from Canada, 150. And make short work of that one. 3 white lights.
157.0 to Matheus Garcia, Spain. Martha Bars to follow. The bar is loaded.
Garcia now from Spain, 157 and a half. Get through this first round, and then we can start seeing where people are going to be. The most important thing now is just to lock that total in. And 3 white lights.
Yeah, I was a little bit concerned. She pulled that super fast, had a bit of a speed wobble at the top, but like our lifter in the first flight, I think she managed to steady it before it became worthy of an infraction.
The bar is loaded.
Martha Marsh now, 170 kilos on the bar, representing Great Britain.
Three white lights, a good lift for Martha. Again, patience off the floor, super speedy to lock out.
Yeah, nice looking lift there. Anne Burns from Australia now, 175.
The bar is loaded for Burns.
she has a really good day on deadlifts and everything goes her way, she does have the potential for a podium finish. But, as I said, things are going to have to go her way. She's off to a good start with a very fast-moving opening lift.
Blue lights, open lift. Now the immediate answer, Marina Maxwell, USA, 170.75.
Are you a conventional or
Position 1 lift
sumo
to follow.
Considering I don't compete in powerlifting and I compete in strongman, I have to pull
You have to
conventional.
pull conventional,
No
great.
sumo in strongman.
With straps?
It depends on what I'm lifting, Gary. No, usually not.
Marina Maxwell from the US. Three white lights, it's a good lift.
A good lift. Now the penultimate opener, 187.5 for Sophia Fortune, USA.
Sophia Fortin now, 187.5.
The bar is
This is
loaded.
a really conservative opening lift and a really smart one. It's 187.5. It is 17.5 kilos less than her personal best.
She is our nominated favourite, so I think Team USA are looking to play it safe in terms of getting numbers on the board and not missing anything with silly mistakes.
Yeah, that was really smart. Three white lights is on the board now. Her total is locked away. Now she can get to work. So Anne Thomason now, France, 195. She's put hers up a little bit, but it is still less than her personal best.
Unfortunately, with all of those A flight ladies getting their deadlifts on the board, it's just bumped Evie from the B flight off the podium by 2.5 kilos, which is a shame. But hey, even coming fourth from the B flight is incredible. Not to mention the silver medal for bench press.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a really tough position to be in. I mean, if you were lifting at the same time as these guys, then you've got the opportunity to change your last deadlift and maybe push for a podium finish. So to get that close is a very impressive feat. And it is three white lights. So we go 165 for Veronica Daw now from Canada. I think this is her last year of juniors, I'm not sure.
Entering the second round with Veronica of Canada, 165. Maria Garcia, get ready. The bar is loaded.
So there are our current deadlift standings. Thomason with 195, Brunner 192.5, and Yi 187.5 takes out on body weight, but we've still got another round to go, or a couple of rounds to go.
Yeah, this session, Gary, is flying, it seems. Not that long ago, we were just watching the first squats. Oh dear.
That's interesting because she didn't really, what I would call a bona fide pull at that. She just sort of gets into position, gives it a bit of a pull and decides, no, not today.
It almost looked like she was just pulling the slack, Gary, which is, of course, something that you're allowed to do as long as the bar doesn't break the floor and or it doesn't look like a bona fide pull.
Interested to see what she does in a third. Right now, Garcia from Spain, 167.5. Three white lights, it's a good lift.
It is, and that, I think, might have been the first lift I've seen her make look even remotely difficult, Gary.
Yeah, she's been having a great day. Martha Marsh now, Great Britain, 177.5. Still shy of her personal best by about 10 kilos.
The bar is loaded.
177.5 for Martha Marsh. it is a good lift, is it? 3 white lights gets the job done.
Melanie Burns from Australia,
So Australia now, Anne
187.5.
Burns
Just over
187.5.
1.5 needs the
This will push her up
63
into
for her kg jump.
third in the deadlift with another round to come, and of course a couple of bitches
The
to
ball
follow
is
as
loaded
well.
and Maxwell to follow.
She's currently ranked at number 3 overall. Three white lights, it's a good lift.
Good lift, she stands third overall. Counting ring best for USA 192.5 to match Melanie Burns total, the classer on body weight. The bar is loaded.
Marina Maxwell now 192.5.
Total of 15 puts the USA at Maxwell.
Chasing after a medal and chasing after a podium finish. I think she got that down command just in the nick of time there.
Yeah, her left hand was kind of unfurling. Of course, it was the one with the underhand grip.
To join this round, 197.5 for Sophia Fulton, USA, 205 for Philip St. Paul's.
Yeah, she was just about to lose control a bit, but got the down command. Sophia Fulton now 197.5.
197.5 for Fulton is finishing with 10 to go, and she needs 10 to go in the weight class.
Another good lift.
Yeah, not the biggest deadlift in this class because we've still got another one to go, but the firm favourite for overall championship. She is a good 20-ish kilos ahead of her nearest competitor, so unless France has something up their sleeve or down their deadlift sock.
Yeah, I think they've got that pretty well locked away though. Thomason now, France 205.
The bar is loaded for myself.
The current deadlift world record for junior 63s is something ridiculous, 241 kilos. And that is also the open record as well.
Three whites. It is a good lift, but is it a good enough lift to load to chase down Sophia from the USA? I'm not sure, but that concludes our second round of deadlifts for the A flight ladies. We will be moving on to the third round. These are our current standings. We've got Fortin 197.5, Thomason 195, and Maxwell with 192.5. These are our overall standings currently, and the projected total, which is of course what these ladies will achieve should they be successful with their next step. We've just had an attempt change. I'm not sure where that came through.
Yeah, we see a few attempt changes at this time. You're allowed 2 changes in your final deadlift.
Yeah, Veronique from Canada is looking to retake her second here with 165. It's quite a lot below her personal best, Gary. I'm wondering if something has not quite gone her way today in terms of how she's feeling strength-wise, maybe an injury, maybe any of the other variables that we have talked about.
Just having a look. We're having an off-camera, an off-microphone conversation about who set the bench press record.
Oh, she manages to get it up, which is great because that second attempt looked pretty rough. She managed to pull through it. Obviously, a pep talk with the coach backstage was the way to go.
Plus 2.5. Martha Marsh, get ready.
So the current 63 junior deadlift record currently belongs to Betty Abora. I believe she has it in the open class as well, Gary.
So we were both wrong.
That doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Proves we are indeed human.
Garcia now for 172.5 kilos. And what a fantastic third lift. She has been outstanding today.
Yeah, she has had a fantastic day. All her lifts super technically proficient, just great. And she looks like she's having a good time on the platform as well, which is super important for these junior lifters.
So Martha Marsh now, Great Britain, 182.5. Of course, we are in the third round, so the bar gets cleaned every single time. However, you can ask for the bar to be cleaned during, before any lift, really.
Well, you can, but also the TC or centre referee can tell you that you're being a little bit dramatic and you should just pull what is ever on the platform. Especially if it's slowing the round down.
And she gets it there. 182.5 goes on the ball with 3 white lights.
Yeah, a really good lift there for Martha. I love seeing people come in with all 3 deadlifts. It's such a stunning way to finish out their day, regardless what has happened earlier.
Well, we're at the business end now. Ann Burns looking for 195 to push herself into the bronze medal position overall, but also the bronze medal position for the deadlifts as well. It's well within her reach. It's only 4.5 kilos above her current record, which I believe is an Australian record at 190.5. So if that is the case, and that is still the current Australian record, this will beat the Australian record.
Yeah, she's looking to pull the same total as Marina from the USA, but Marina is a little bit lighter, so that'll be interesting to see what happens there, Gary.
Well, I think that was a well-chosen weight there. You've given yourself an opportunity. You've got a toe on the podium now. Can you keep it there and get yourself all the way on? Only time will tell, because now it's up to them to take it away from you. So Marina Maxwell now will lift for 200 kilos.
And yeah, if she is successful with this, she will just pip Ann on body weight. Marina coming in as a really light 63 today.
She certainly has, and this is 7.5 kilos above her personal best.
She has made it onto the platform in time. This time, of course, missing out her second bench due to unfortunate timing. However, she has managed to redeem herself regardless of that.
And unfortunately, couldn't quite hold it. So that means Burns holds on to the bronze medal position for Australia and locks that away. And now we come down to the last 2 lifts. Sophia Fortin for 200 kilos. She is number 2 in the deadlift, number 1 in overall.
Yeah, and number 1 and 2, Sophia and Anlaw, they seem to be like, there's nothing in that. They have locked those positions away. Hey, Gary, when you said Australia just then, that was the most Australian thing I've ever heard you say. Australia.
Australia. Oh, I'm sorry, I blinked.
Yeah,
that was not a third lift.
No, it didn't. But none of her thirds have looked like third attempts, Gary. She is, I want to say, in a league of her own in terms of effort and proficiency in her lifts, she's taking out this class regardless of what happens. She's totaled over 500, 505 kilos for Sophia. No one's catching up to her. Even if our French lifter for her third attempt is successful, she'll only be pulling to 492.5. I say only like I'm capable of that. I'm not.
Yeah, 210 deadlift, and that's not even going to put her into the gold medal position. She'll take the silver. So this is Anne Thomason from France now, 210 kilos. This is a massive, massive lift.
She is not taking it, Gary. She's going to shake hands with the referees. This is sensible, actually. She's not going to achieve anything more with pulling that.
Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, she put that weight on. She's decided it's a bit too much, so she'll let that slide. So there are our rankings for our deadlift, with Thomason with 205 and the gold medal, Fortin with 200 and the bronze, and Ann Burns with 195 and the bronze medal. We look at the overall results.
Thank you, spotters. Thank you, referees, and thanks to you in the crowd.
505 kilo total for Sophia Fortin to take the gold medal overall. Thomason there with 587 and a half to take the bronze, and Ann Burns slides in there with 477 and a half. That last deadlift pushing her in there for the bronze medal.
And not to mention Evie Vanderlyn from Belgium in 5th place from the B flight, and she'll be taking that silver in the bench press event as well. I think she's probably my favourite lifter of the day, purely for pure guts and grit.
Yeah, and it's a tough position to come from as well. Well, don't go too far away. We'll have the medal ceremony coming up very, very shortly. Of course, we'll be back at 2 p.m. this afternoon with more action.
a participation award as a souvenir of their presence here in Sun City, South Africa for the World Championships. So as usual, we're going to start off with the short event with 177.5 in squat bronze from Australia and Burns. With 180 in squat silver from the 52s to the 63s, Marina Maxwell of the USA. And with 192.5, missing out on the world record, but still collecting the squat gold is Sophia Fulton of the USA. Thank you, ladies. Into the bench press medals now with 107.5 in bench press bronze from France and Laure Thomasin. Also in 107, but light on body weight, holding on from the B group in bench press silver, Evie van der Linde, Belgium. With a dominant 112.5, bench press gold goes to the USA and Sophia Fulton. Thank you. Next up, the deadlift medals. In bronze with 195 from Australia and Burns. In deadlift silver with 200 kilos from the USA, Sophia Fulton. And with 205, deadlift gold goes to France and Laure Thomasin. Now into the final places in the weight class. Bronze overall with 477.5 from Australia, it is Burns. Silver medalist, vice champion of the world with 487.5 from France, it is Laure Thomasin. And your 2026 Junior 63 World Champion with 505 from the USA, Sophia Fulton. And now the audience, please stand up if you are able to for the national anthem of the USA. Congratulations to all of the 63s and congratulations to Sophia. You are a new world champion. Thank you, ladies. Now one final lap of honor behind Altamira, our technical controller. Let's go around the platform and one last round of applause for all of the 63s in the Junior Championship. And at the very end of the award ceremony, we'll be back at 2 in the afternoon for the 74s.